Philosophy of habits. In the Western philosophical tradition, Aristotle is one of the first philosophers to extensively discuss the theme of habits, because, as I mentioned earlier, the concept of habits is a central notion in his virtue ethics. According to Aristotle, virtues are skills that must be learned as practical knowledge in order to achieve the good life. Aristotle refers to this kind of practical knowledge with the Greek term phronesis, that points to the practical wisdom of making the right judgment in an ethical dilemma, the appropriateness of which can only be shown in the way one has reacted in that situation. The question to what extent a virtue is mechanical remains ambiguous, because Aristotle assumes that every situation needs to be assessed anew, and therefore it follows that choosing the right action cannot be fulfilled without conscious attention. This is exactly the argument why the fourth way sees voluntary rational agency exclusively as a function of superseding one's mechanicalness before one is able to consciously assess every situation circumstantially. Perhaps can learning the right attitude or disposition be associated with the way Aristotle views habit formation, as we have discussed before. Another recurring theme in the philosophy of habits is acquiring the ability to control the passions and natural instinctive impulses. Almost all philosophers agree that instinctual tendencies are one of the biggest hurdles that hinder instantiating a new habit. It is a theme that Aristotle speaks about, but it also appears in the thinking of Descartes, who states that in order to improve on our natural, passionate responses to external objects, we need to condition ourselves for better ones. David Hume writes in regard to the topic of the passions, "When a passion has once become a settled principle of action and is the predominant inclination of the soul, then it commonly produces no sensible agitation." Furthermore, Hume distinguishes two kinds of passion as he states that calm passions are capable of controlling violent passions. The general theme in this debate deals with the persuasive mechanical powers of emotions and instinctive tendencies, and seems to suggest that an a priori rational deliberation is a fundamental prerequisite in acquiring the right disposition to act virtuously, or, said in a different way, showing the appropriate habitual behavior in the face of the violent mechanicalness of the passions. As we have seen, emotions and rationality are contrasted once again as two fundamentally different modes of cognition. What is your view on this dichotomy? Are emotions much different from the passions, or are they in some way related or even stemming from the same thing? Let us in on your thoughts in the comments and consider subscribing to the channel. In the next video, we will bring an important modern philosophical voice to the scene that has dramatically influenced the way we view habits nowadays.